Okay, now we're gonna get started with our very first month. Woohoo! This is month one of really 9 months for the blocks, and then we're gonna plan on doing some kind of motivation for the other three. So it is January 8th, and this is dropping so we can get started. I already made the first block. So every month, you're going to make two blocks. They're going to be the exact same shapes, just different colors. So I went ahead and made this orange one. So it looks really, really good. But one of the things that I wanted to show you, I can get real close. Sorry, it got kind of cloudy on me. These little seams sometimes don't match up perfect, but you know what? When you're looking at the whole like this, if they're just a little bit off, it does not make a difference. Now, I am going to be honest with you. This row right here, I did 3 times because I just wasn't happy with it. And I'm pretty much on there, a tiny bit off there. This one's just a lot. It just is what it is, right? But again, when you're looking at it from a whole perspective, especially once you get the quilt done, you are not going to see these small little. So go easy on yourself if it's not perfect, or if you want to keep trying, go for it. But I like getting done more than I like being perfect. So, and I'm excited to get done with this one. Okay, so this is the orange block of this month. And I'm going to make the little mini pillow that comes along with this pattern. So I went ahead and I cut my triangles and I just put them in a little baggie, and I'm going to do that as I go so that when I get to the end, I can just put this mini pillow together. And I think that we will do that as one of those last 3 months. We'll have this mini pillow tutorial too. All right, so there is that. Let's get started. Now, I have already cut one off from here. I've trimmed the edge and cut one. I'm a stack and whack kind of person, but if you don't feel comfortable stacking them up and cutting them, then please do them one by one. There's only 6 fabrics. It's not a lot. Now, because of the thickness, I've got some pins up here. I'm going to take those off. Because of the thicknesses of this, I am adding a little more magnet to this. I'm going to make sure that gets nice and lined up there. All right, we are good to go. Not using my mat to line up, I'm using the ruler to line up. And just going to give it a little bit of pressure. I also keep one finger off the ruler, and that helps keep it stable as well. But with these magnets, it helps keep it real stable. Okay, there we go. So we've got the strips. These are perfect. This one I think is not quite 2.5 inches, but how I am getting those, let's see, those triangles for the pillow. Yeah, see, this one's not 2.5 inches. I'll have to get it from one of the other ones, but some of these cuts are enough for the 2.5 inches for the triangles, and I will cut those with the Hexamore ruler because I think it's easier to cut it in one go for the mini pillow. All right, back to the originally scheduled program. I'm going to cut one at a time for these cuts. I'm not going to be using the magnet ruler. I'm going to be using the Super Sidekick. And we are making diamonds. So what you do is you line up, and I like to go all the way to the edge. You line up your ruler, and then your first cut is going to be to cut at that angle, and you're just going to cut that off. Then what you're going to do is turn your fabric around, line it up. You can see the diamond right here. You line it up really carefully. And this doesn't have quite as much waste. You've got that at the front, and then you cut, and you've got a diamond here. and then you line it up again. Real carefully, making sure along each edge you've got it. It's sticking off a little bit here. That may not make a difference. We'll see if it's a little too tight. So now what I'm going to do is turn the ruler over and line it up with this 3.5-inch line. See, and it's still within the seam allowance, but I may actually cut another one of those. Let's see. That's this one. We'll start again like this. I forgot to lay out the colors first. I got so excited about cutting. But that is how you cut those diamonds. This is really easy this month to cut these diamonds. In fact, really all of her stuff, she makes it so easy. So we're just lining up like that. Let me get a little bit, see if I can get a little bit closer. See, it's lined up, lining all the way up with those lines. And then you just cut and you get that beautiful diamond shape. Let's see if this cut is the same. This cut is not quite as much as you see right there as the other one. As long as it's within the seam allowance, you're good. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at this one real quick. First, I'm going to notch all of these. Yeah, that one's a lot better. And that's okay. 3 is good. 3 is real good. We're going to cut the notches off on both sides. And you can do that. You see how this triangle is. Ooh, let me go back out just a little bit. See how the triangle is on the Stripology? It's got that little flat end. You're lining up right here, and it is there's a little notch right here that you line up as well. And then you just trim that little notch off like that. And you do that with all of these. That will make your life a lot easier. You just line it up, that little notch right there, and all the way down, and you trim off the little notch. You turn it over, you line it up, and you trim the notch. Very, very easy to do. All right, back up. Oops. Don't want my cord getting in the way. All right. So what we're going to do now that I didn't do at the beginning, and I'm very, very sorry for, is we are going to, before I finish notching those, we are going to lay out the colors. So there are 6 colors in this, and you organize them by A, B, C, D, E, F. So I think this one looks good as C, and you can choose your own however whatever colorways you want to go. I think this one is here, and this one I think I'm going to put here, and this light one here. I like the way that color arrangement goes. So this would be my B. This would be A, B, C, D, E, F. And then you just cut, oops, you can't really see. Let me come out just a little bit more. So A, B, C, D, E, F. And you would cut according to your pattern, however many diamonds you need for those letters. I highly suggest once you cut and you keep in this order, you take a picture of it so that you can remember. And this is where doing your swatches kind of come in handy, because if you get confused, you can just kind of refer to your swatches in your pictures and everything else like that when you're doing this. I am actually going to make myself a kind of a vision board that I can lay it on and carry it back and forth. I've never done that before, but I think for this project I will, because it is so, you have to be so careful to keep things kind of organized. So I am going to finish cutting this, and you can too for this week. We will be back next week for the sewing of this block. Have fun. We'll see you next week.